Hey everybody, welcome back to the COVID Cocktail Club. Happy Friday. You guys know on Fridays we like to do a little something special and call out somebody who's, done something a little bit extra cool this week. So I think today Jason and I wanted to call out our friend Kim, who's probably one of our favorite drinking buddies this week because she has somehow gotten very creative with all of her drinks, but also she's doing her own Quarren Queen Supper Club on Facebook, and they have themed dinner nights that she gets the whole family involved in every night, and they've been really having a good time of it and posting some really fun stuff. But I maybe was a little bit, had a sharp eye there, and I spied in her Quarren Queen Supper Club pictures some of our drinks. So I love that she's making drinks with us and then incorporating it into her own family activities. So yay, Kim, thanks for drinking with us. We love you.
I was just going to add, you mentioned this week, but she's, I think from day one, has been on like every day posting, just really engaged and having fun with us. So
yeah,
it's pretty awesome.
Okay, what are we making today?
What are we making today? Oh, we didn't plan, did we? What are we making?
Oh, shit. Oh, well.
You have beer, wine, anything?
Well, that's the nice thing about today's cocktail, actually, because even if you didn't plan, you can pull this one out of your behind because it really doesn't take a whole lot of planning or a whole lot of ingredients or a whole lot of anything, right?
That's very true. And in fact, if you look at the screens, you're going to see not a whole lot. Actually, let me fix mine. You will see that what is on my bar is quite different than what's on Rysse's. And that is, to Rysse's point, today's all about really just, as we often say, rules, no rules, and just mixing things up. I'm not going to say that R word.
Not
I
gonna
promise.
Don't say it.
What?
Don't say it.
I'm not going to say it. But what we're talking about are old fashions.
Thank you.
With the E on the end.
Thank you for pronouncing that correctly.
And the beauty of old fashions is, while yes, there is the original classic recipe that's bourbon based, we've learned, over the last couple of years, there's some really fun variations you can do that we're going to be playing with today. I'm going to be using rum, but not just regular rum, and regular rum has its place. Tiki bars, tiki cocktails are fun. But the old days of pina coladas, frozen daiquiris, very syrupy, frozen machines, that's not what we're talking about. We're actually talking about aged rums. I've got a few right here that I'll talk about in a bit. But aged rums are aged typically in actually old bourbon casks or barrels, usually from anywhere from 6 years beyond. The one I'm doing today actually has been aged 15 years. So a lot of people that think they don't like rum, it's sort of very similar to those that didn't think they liked gin and tonics till they had our gin and tonics. This isn't your grandfather's rum, let's put it that way. It's got a lot more of the character of bourbon, even scotch. These are great to sip. And while, yes, we're going to work it into an old fashioned, it's not something you would put in a pina colada or a frozen daiquiri, where you really want to be able to appreciate, the various notes, like the honey undertones, the spice, what have you. So, but I'll talk about more about this in a second. So I'm doing rum. Rysse, what are you doing today?
Well, let me throw out there really, really quick before I tell you what I'm going to make, which is going to be a huge shocker, I know. The basic formula for an old fashioned, the reason that it is so easy to do a variation of, is because all it is 2 ounces of a base spirit, a sweetener, and bitters. So that's it. It's booze, sweet, bitter. And that's why you can really play with what you want to use in all 3 of those places. So I'm going to make a Oaxacan Old Fashioned today, which uses mezcal. I know everybody is surprised. So, I mean, really, it's just going to be a split base with tequila and mezcal, and you can, do that however you want to make my version.
Okay.
So,
and do you have the Breaking Bad mezcal now?
I did run out and get it. I maybe did a curbside specs delivery because I had a shocking shortage of mezcal and they didn't have the El Silencio I was looking for. So I got the fancy Breaking Bad Dos Hombres mezcal, and I'm going to use it with the Gran Centenario Reposado tequila. I want some full body in there, so I'm going to use the Reposado tequila. This is a good place for that in this cocktail. And then instead of using any sort of sugar or simple, I'm using agave because I'm going with agave spirits. So I think that'll go along with it. And then another really fun place to play with old fashions is the bitters. The actual recipe uses just Angostura, but I'm going to pop in a dash of the mole bitters just because that makes everything better. I also threw in over here another riff real quick. Sorry, Jason.
Yeah,
I discovered this accidentally once, just like on my Instagram feed, and I thought it was unbelievably delicious. So I wanted to share it in case anybody's got some of this Japanese whiskey at home. I feel like it's gotten really popular, but it was a Japanese old fashioned. So it was just 2 ounces of this whiskey and then a little demerara syrup, which is just demerara sugar made into a simple syrup. It's like brown sugar. It's a little richer than a regular simple syrup, a little thicker. And then these cherry bark vanilla bitters that are really delicious too. So there's that.
all right. Shall we play?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, before we start, I'm sorry. I have all this stuff I wanted to share today. Somebody else, I just want you guys to know that we do look at the feedback. Somebody asked about when the clear ice lesson is going to be. So I wanted to take 2 seconds on Old Fashioned Day because never is clear ice more important than in an old fashioned, right? So we're going to want to use your big ball or your big cube. So I brought out a couple of my favorite devices. It's not that we're going to carve this stuff. So I'm not teaching you how to carve clear ice. I'm just going to show you how to spend money, which I do exceedingly well. Just ask my husband. But this is on the rocks, and this makes my cubes. And it's just a very, very, very quick thing is we put boiling water in to the clear part, put boiling water in there, let that thing sink down, put it in there, freeze it overnight, 24 hours, and you get 6 clear cubes from that. This one makes, it's the same idea with the directional freezing, how the clear ice comes to the top and all the impurities go to the bottom. And that's why they're so tall, because it's really, you know, the bottom half you end up tossing, the top half makes good ice. And this one makes 7 big round spheres. And this is Wintersmiths. They'll both run you $100 or so.
And as both Brian and Marcy would attest, not only do you have to buy those 2 units, you also have to buy a separate freezer to house these, or it certainly seems that way. I don't know about you, Rysse. I'm struggling a bit right now because our freezer is fuller than usual for obvious reasons. So one tip I would give that I learned maybe from you, Rysse, a couple of years ago is, you know, when you've got time, which we have plenty of time right now, is to make backups. So every couple of days, break out the ice, put it in a freezer bag, and just build up a nice collection so that when we get past all this, you guys have a party, you'll have 40 or 50, you know, ice spheres or ice balls ready to go.
Yeah, these take up some serious real estate, but once you take them out, you can leave them in your Ziploc bag in your freezer, you know, forever, and they stay fine. The other fun thing that you can do with those cubes is infuse them and put, you know, float fun stuff in them, but, you know, now I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyway, there's your clear ice.
Now can we play?
Yes, I'm so thirsty.
All right, let's play. Okay, so as Rysse pointed out, you know, it's pretty basic ingredients here, or basic ratio. So I'm going with an aged rum. I'm using El Dorado. I can't tell you why I chose to actually enjoy all of these. I just happen to see this one, and I haven't had it in a while. It's aged 15 years. You know, these are aged 15, 21. I think this one is, it's actually aged twice, 5 years and then 3 years in 2 different barrels. But, you know, the point being, again, these have much more of the character and the profile of a bourbon or a scotch than your classic Bacardi white rum. So I would challenge anyone out there who's closed-minded against rum, just try this. If you have it, we're not saying go buy, you know, $100 bottle of rum, but if you've got one out there, if you're open to it, start with one. This is a good one, and just give it a shot. It's also really good if you like bourbon cocktails, Sazeracs, Manhattans, etc. You can do rum Manhattans, rum Sazeracs, especially in the summertime. It's a little bit sweeter, and to me, it's just a nice sort of shift from what you're used to.
Yeah, I would say I'm that person who hates rum and will never, ever, ever, ever order a rum drink. And Jason's been trying for a really long time to get me into this rum old fashioned. Somehow I stumbled upon this bottle, and like now I'm obsessed. And I'm a huge bourbon drinker. So this bottle is my new favorite bottle, and costs about $30 or something. It's not a big deal. Aged rum is not near as expensive as aged whiskey or.
Yeah, it's a great point. Not well, probably not for long though, because really I just read an article. I think behind rye, aged rum, or rum in general, but driven by aged rum, is I think the second fastest growing spirit right now. So
faster than mezcal.
I think mezcal is like 12.
I don't know.
All right, so I'm going with, again, the aged rum. Rysse, you're doing what, 1 and 1?
Well, the recipe is supposed to be 1.5 of tequila and half of mezcal.
Are you sticking with that, or are you going more mezcal?
Never stick with it the way it's written. I may be leaning a little heavy on the mezcal, but the way it's written.
And actually, I got ahead of myself. I'm doing my sugar the old-fashioned way, so I actually have the old brown sugar cubes and 1/4 ounce of water. And I'm also gonna throw an orange peel in there just to help kind of muddle it. So you're using agave, right?
I am. So
Yeah.
I've just got my tequila, my mezcal, and I'm just pouring. And I'm not even gonna bother measuring my agave. I'm literally, I mean, like you did with your sugar cubes, I'm just gonna give it a squirt.
Right.
I don't think it's necessary.
Okay. Shall we ice?
No, I haven't done my bitters. Have you?
We have to do, that's right. Oh, you know what? We're doing the same bitters. Imagine that.
Well, I mean, mole bitters make everything better.
Yes, this is,
So
I would say, is this your favorite bitters? Bitter?
I mean, yeah, probably.
I think so. Yeah, this one's pretty solid, guys. You can get it now. We saw it Specs in Houston. Amazon, you can also get it.
There's so many nice ways of messing with bitters, though. I mean, you could do the chocolate and the cherry bark vanilla, and there's grapefruit ones. And I've got like chai tea bitters and cardamom bitters, and these all like make it like so yum. So you can play with bitters all day long.
We should have a class just on bitters only.
We'd be drunk.
Yeah, that's true. Bitters actually typically high in alcohol content. Just in case you're wondering, this is orange bitters. So I mixed the two together. Okay. Now we should ice.
Now we're gonna it just chills it and incorporates all the ingredients. Then also when you use your large ice, remember to put the ice in first. Pretend I didn't use my fingers, pretend I used ice tongs. But it's important to remember to put the ice in first and pour your liquid over it for 2 reasons. One is to keep your ice clear, because the liquid going over the ice will make it clear when it looked a little bit cloudy beforehand. But also, if you try to drop a large thing of ice into a drink, it does not end well.
You do it once. You learn your lesson once.
And you cry and blah, blah, blah. Anywho. Let's bring it over that large ice. Jason's is going to be darker because he used all aged rum, and I used just a little bit of the reposado tequila and a large amount of the clear mezcal. So that's why. And then we're going to do an orange peel.
That's your orange peel. As we told you guys before, if you're getting citrus, look for the nubbier, kind of bumpier fruit or more oil.
You want to squeeze that oil over it because that makes it so yum. And then, so now we have an aged rum old fashioned and a Oaxacan old fashioned. And we challenge you guys to come up with whatever weird old fashioned riffs. Oops, I said it. You guys can. So have fun with this. You have a whole weekend to play. Play with this one. Play with everything that we've introduced all week, and just see what you come up with. We can't wait. I'm putting up the shopping list for next week. There's some really fun drinks. Some classics and some unique ones, and bringing a lot of kitchen to the bar again, and a couple of new bottles for you. So we hope that you will join us next week.
And we may or may not have a surprise guest. Just saying.
Who knows what we'll pull out of our hat.
Cheers, Rysse.
Cheers, Jason.